sure. Yeah. Welcome, everyone, to the City Council regular meeting. Today is Tuesday, February 3rd, 2026. The meeting's called to order at 6:35. Pledge of Allegiance will be done by Vice Mayor Chan.
All right. Was expecting that. Everyone rise, place your right hand over your heart, face the flag, repeat the words with me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Clerk, roll call, please.
Mayor Menchaca,
Here.
Vice Mayor Chan,
Here.
Councilmember Ding,
Here.
Councilmember Wu,
Here.
and Councilmember Herrera Avila is not present.
And he's asked me to make the announcement that he could not be here today. He's had a death in the family, and so he had to step away for tonight. And I just want to, on behalf of the council, give him and his family our deepest condolences. Thank you. Closed session report.
I do have a closed session report for a change. This relates to the closed session that took place at the special meeting which occurred immediately prior to this meeting. There were two items on there that were identified as undisclosed potential litigation. Madam Mayor, I have the obligation now to disclose the identity of the parties involved and report action that was taken. So the first action involves, these were both code enforcement matters. They both concern code violations at various properties. The first property is located at 1521 Manley Drive, and with the property owners identified as Ya-Yu and Yan-Yu Trust. The city council directed staff to file an abatement action for nuisance on the property if the property owner did not comply with a final compliance deadline. Likewise, the second, and that action was taken unanimously. Likewise, at the property identified as 904 South Del Mar Avenue with property owners Ya-Yu, Yan-Yu, and Zhahu. Again, same report. If the owners of the property do not beat a final compliance deadline, then a nuisance abatement case will be filed in that matter as well, as directed unanimously by the city council. Madam Mayor, that concludes the report.
Thank you. We will now have some announcements from our Chief City Clerk.
Tonight's meeting is live streamed on the city's online platforms. If you wish to address the City Council during tonight's meeting, we request that you please complete a speaker's card and hand it to the clerk at this time. When speaking, please state your name for the record. Please note that interactions between the City Council, city staff, and the public during meetings are subject to the city's rules of decorum.
Okay. Approval of agenda order. Are there any objections to the agenda order? Hearing none, the agenda order is approved. Okay. Next item, please.
Presentations, Black History Month. The full text of the proclamation is available on the city's website. Mayor Menchaca will make the presentation.
Okay. Whereas African Americans have played a significant role in the history of our nation and California's economic, cultural, spiritual, and political development while working tirelessly to promote their culture and history, and whereas all Americans are encouraged to reflect on past successes and challenges of African Americans and look to the future to improve society so that we live up to the ideals of freedom, equality, and justice. Now, therefore, I, Denise Menchaca, Mayor of the City of San Gabriel, California, on behalf of the City Council, do hereby proclaim February 2026 as Black History Month in the City of San Gabriel and invite everyone to recognize this month to celebrate the diversity and character of our community and highlight the importance of sharing our culture, customs, and traditions with those around us. In honor of Black History Month, I'd like to share a special program hosted by the San Gabriel Library. Celebrate African American and Black history through arts as we learn about the life and work of Alma Thomas, a pioneer abstract artist and dedicated educator. Following their presentation, participants will create their own artwork inspired by her vibrant and expressive paintings. This creative and educational experience is open to all ages, a wonderful opportunity for families and community members to learn, reflect, and create together locally. This event will take place on Saturday, February 21st, from 3 to 4:30 p.m. Thank you. Next item, please.
Public comment. This is the time set aside for members of the public to address the City Council on consent calendar items and on items of interest that are not on the agenda but are within the subject matter jurisdiction of the San Gabriel City Council. Our first speaker this evening is Chastity Jennings Nunez.
Residents in the city, thank you, of San Gabriel. So I don't know, maybe I'll start it over so that we all hear it. But I was just saying that February is Black History Month, as we stated in the proclamation, and not only are our contributions made in the past tense, but that we continue to play a critical role as African Americans in America. And that I've been encouraged in San Gabriel to see more and more Black residents in the city. But really 90 years of redlining and racism over centuries and segregation are going to take generations to really undo. And so the population of African Americans in San Gabriel is still less than 1%. So 4 years ago, I developed and funded an art exhibition for Black History Month to provide a meaningful way to celebrate my heritage as an African American in San Gabriel. I want to thank Blossom Market and Linda Law, who is the manager there, for her support and for allowing us to continue to celebrate. And this will be the 4th year that we have our exhibition. So I am here to invite the City Council to please spread the word and invite you to the private reception and provide your invitation for that. And this year we are expanding our celebration of Black History Month, and on January 21st, we're going to have Jazz Zone, which is an African-American jazz band, perform from 6:30 to 8:30 at Blossom Market. So I invite you out to have dinner and support Blossom Market and our local vendors and small businesses while you listen to jazz provided by Jazz Zone. So thank you, and I want to provide these invitations to Adam. They are for each of the City Council members, the Mayor Menchaca and Vice Mayor Chen. I gave one to Councilmember George Herrera already, and to our city manager and the staff. Thank you.
Madam Mayor, I have no more speaker cards.
Okay, thank you. Let's see. Next item, please.
Consent calendar. All items listed under the consent calendar are considered routine, and recommendations will be approved in one motion unless a member of the City Council requests separate discussion.
Would any council member like to pull an item for separate discussion? Okay, I see none. Would a council member like to make a motion to approve?
Yes, Mayor, I would like to make a motion to approve.
Okay, I need a second.
I second.
Okay, please vote.
Motion passes by a vote of 4-0.
Next item, please.
We have no public hearing or continued business this evening. The next item is new business item A, fiscal year 2026 to 27 budget kickoff and planning discussion. Finance Director Kahulahula will make the staff presentation.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, members of the City Council. It is my pleasure to present the fiscal year 2026-27 budget kickoff Tonight's presentation will provide an overview of the budget process, outline key budget priorities, and review important dates in the upcoming budget calendar. On January 28th of this year, the fiscal year 2026 budget process commenced. City departments were provided with budget instructions and worksheets, along with general direction from the city manager to begin developing their proposed budgets. The budgets will provide multiple opportunities for both the city council and the public to offer input and guidance as the budget is developed over the coming months, tonight being that first opportunity to discuss the budget in an open public meeting. Departments' operating budgets will continue to align with the city's established budget priorities with an emphasis on incremental and sustainable adjustments. Proposed budget augmentations will be evaluated to address longer-term priorities, service enhancements, and identified capital needs. And then based on our second quarter budget update, we may be limited on the funding for augmented capital needs and service enhancements for this next coming budget year, but we'll take a look at it. The city's operational budget priorities include well-maintained streets, parks, and city facilities, public safety, including homeless outreach and mental health resources, economic development, community services with a particularly those serving youth and seniors, city special events to foster community engagement. In 25-26, we had over 24 special events. Maintaining strong fiscal reserves, including sustaining our 25% rainy day reserve goal. Our longer-term budget priorities focus on three key areas: city infrastructure, capital investment, and financial health. Under city infrastructure, our longer-term budget priorities include a public safety headquarters, police and fire facilities, community service building, Mission Playhouse restrooms, Smith Park pool. Under capital investments, we have our equipment and vehicle replacement, technology and software upgrades, general plan update. These investments help ensure the city's operations remain efficient, reliable, and aligned with future growth. And then finally, financial health. Maintain and strengthen our reserves while setting aside funds to address long-term obligations such as OPEB, other post-employment benefits, as well as future infrastructure and capital needs. Turning now to key dates in the budget process. So, as mentioned earlier, January 28th, we kicked off the budget with the departments receiving instructions and their worksheets. Tonight, February 3rd, we're having our first public meeting to discuss the budget and discuss our budget priorities. And then moving on, February 13th, city departments will submit their revenue projections, budget worksheets, and any budget augmentation request. That information will be received by the finance department, compiled, analyzed, summarized, and the information will be provided to the city manager by March 11th. That information will include an initial estimate of our net operating surplus or deficit. And then from March 16th through the 25th, departmental budget meetings will be held with the city manager, finance staff in each department to review departmental budgets and augmentation requests. And then on April 1st, we'll have a budget balancing meeting with the city manager and the executive team. At that point, decisions will be made regarding which items to include in the proposed budget that will be presented to the council and which items may be deferred or reconsidered in the future. And then following that meeting, finance staff will prepare the proposed budget document and presentation for the city council. And then on April 27th, we'll have a special city council meeting for the budget study session for the fiscal year 26-27 budget. This will provide an opportunity for the city council discussion as well as public comment. And then after the budget study session from April 28th through May 7th, we will hold one-on-one budget meetings with each city council member. The meetings will include the city council member, the finance staff, and the city manager. And this will be to discuss the proposed budget. And then on May 14th, at the Blossom Market Hall in their upstairs conference room, we'll conduct a community budget meeting. This will provide an informal setting for residents and stakeholders to learn about the city's finances and ask questions. And then approximately 4 months from today, on June 2nd, the City Council will conduct a public hearing on the proposed fiscal year 26-27 budget and have the opportunity to adopt the budget at that time. If the budget needs further discussion and refinement, we'll continue the public hearing to June 16th, and then we would be able to adopt the budget at that time. So in conclusion, the city's budget priorities are structured to deliver a high level of service to residents while maintaining long-term fiscal sustainability and supporting strategic growth. Tonight's discussion marks the beginning of the fiscal year 26-27 budget planning process. Staff has initiated the development of departmental budgets aligned with city priorities, and both the City Council and the public will have multiple opportunities to provide input as the budget is refined. And an in-depth public study session will be held on April 22nd, 2026, and we look forward to a successful budget season for fiscal year 25-26. This concludes my presentation. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Our city manager has a question.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, members of the council. I just want to add one thing before I turn it over to the council for questions or comments. First, I want to thank Director Kaholakulu and his staff. What you all may not see behind the scenes is they have been working for the last several months on implementing a new ERP system, which is a fancy name for the software that runs all of our accounting, financial, and the two accountants in the room will very much appreciate that. But they are implementing that software, hundreds of hours in meetings with our consultant team, but also having to keep the city running at the same time. And this budget cycle for them is going to be, very much impacted by that. But they're going to meet the same deadlines and obligations as they have in the past. So I just want to pass the kudos and congratulations on to them, so you all know that extra work they're doing in the background. And then one wet blanket kind of thing to throw on tonight. I know we've been in a better situation in the past few years with our finances, and we've had sort of happier times to be able to add things to the budget. I just want to let the council know this may not be the year for that, with the economy being what it is and with some investments we've made into our people and some investments in our infrastructure. This may not be the year that we're able to add more, so we're going to be very cautious when we present that budget to council. And then lastly, what we're looking for tonight is a reiteration that those priorities that Will put up in his slides, that's what the council priorities are for the budget. All of our spending, the little discretionary funds that we have, want to make sure that they implement those goals of the council. And so that's the purpose of tonight's meeting, not only to lay out that calendar, but to give us our marching orders as we put that frugal budget together that, that it meets those goals of the council. So really looking for input and consensus that those are the overarching budget goals. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Okay, does any council member have factual questions for staff before we turn it over to public comment? Okay, I see none.
I do.
Oh, I'm sorry, I do.
No, I thought Councilmember Dean would like his
Okay, you both do. So, Councilmember Wu.
Okay, well, thank you, Mayor. And thank you so much, Will, for the presentation. It provides really great information and also pointing out the outlines of the timeline and structures of our broad budget process. And I think this is also a great opportunity that for our community to share the ideas and help us to get the budgets right. So as far as I know that, in the past, when we have those public, like a public forum, public hearing, that we had only very few people, very few constituents that come to join us. So in the budget process, does our city have any specific strategy this year to ensure that we will have more residents to get involved and be aware that there's a budget timeline in the community budget meetings. Because, for example, if we can use the platform like Instagram, City Beats, or Discover St. Gabriel magazines, and let them know we have, a budget meetings that open to public and they can share their thought. And I think not long ago that we have a resident, a block captain, that has sent an email in trying to share with his concern about the road paving, about our budget, if we can just do some more fading out signs. So those are really good examples that they can communicate with us, but they can also join the public the public meeting that talk about the budget. And also, so that was my first question. Will we have any way to promote our public meetings for the budget in City of St. Gabriel? And the second thing is, are we considering to offer any translation service, such as Spanish, Chinese, or Vietnamese, often advance requested by those participants? Many people, they don't want to join because they may have language barrier. It doesn't mean they don't care, but they just do not know how to express their feeling or to share their thought in English. So would that be part of the options? And the third question I have is, will our city staff formally share the feedback from the community budget meeting with us, with the city council? So before we make the final decision, we can receive a summarized report that can reflect in subsequent budget adjustment. So rather than the meeting being just purely, procedural formality. And the last one I have is the city considering to use any online survey, the interactive platform or live stream meeting, that we can expand more participation for resident who is not able to attend in person? So those are my questions. Thank you.
Okay, well, as far as, I'll take a shot at it, but as far as advertising the budget process or the budget dates, I think you come up with some very good suggestions. And I know our PIO, I know for our community budget meeting last year, our PIO was very diligent in getting the word out there and communicating it. But I think those are good suggestions, and it's something we can work with our PIO on to advertise the opportunities to discuss the budget.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, Will. Since we do have our PIO, I see one of them at least here. Would you like to share maybe what you might be doing differently? Because I too had some concerns, so might as well bring you up now. If there is a different strategy, or what kind of platforms are you planning to use?
Yes, good evening, Mayor and Council. Usually for situations like this, what my partner Jessica and I like to do is we look at the statistics from the engagement that our posts receive, and we base off that to kind of create our marketing strategy. So over the last year, our social media platforms have changed. Our growth has changed in terms of numbers. We're almost at 10,000 followers just on Instagram alone. Not counting, I think on Facebook, we're at a little over 7,000, just to give you a range on our following. But I will more than gladly work with Will to create a bilingual campaign to notify our residents of the budget meeting. Another thing that we could do is normally when a post doesn't get a lot of traction is we build a larger campaign. So what does that mean? Instead of doing one post, we do multiple posts, or we create a reel. So we'll work with Will to get that information out to our residents and perhaps start promoting it sooner rather than later. So hopefully we get it to all of our residents.
Do you have a follow-up, Councilmember Wu?
Yes. So what about the live streams and also online survey? Is that something that will be done by PIO or any other channels?
We have not had that discussion yet, but if that's what the council wishes for us to do, we're more than happy to do that. We can create a survey. There are different platforms that we can utilize that we have utilized in the past for other things, not necessarily just budget meetings, but we can create a survey that could even assist with was your fourth question, Councilmember Wu, in terms of providing that feedback based on that survey for the council.
I see. Well, thank you. I remember that even the farmer's market, that time that we have sent out a survey, and at the very beginning that we mentioned what is prioritized items that the constituent they cares the most. So that will help us to get more knowledge about, because we may live in a different area in the city of San Gabriel. They may have their concern because they feel their road is not being well paved, or because their light is not working. They may have different ideas that what is the priority means. So that's the reason that I feel if this is possible, we can have some kind of survey that's sending out to our constituents, and we will get a better information from them.
Of course, and just standing up here and discussing about it already has my wheels turning. So, of course, it's not the proper time to discuss those ideas, but Will and I will definitely be working together, and we'll bring something to the council.
Okay, that's all I have. Thank you. Thank you, Ileana.
Councilmember Ding, did you want to say something now or later? Okay. Vice Mayor Chan?
Thank you, Will. Always a great presentation. I just wanted to echo and reiterate Councilman Wu's point and make sure you guys are thinking of that maybe we can broaden our communication about the budget meetings in other languages so that the various demographics of our city residents and businesses are aware of this process and feel comfortable understanding the information and the ways to participate. So that was a very good point. That I'd like to see more of that too. Thank you.
Okay. Now, did all four questions, were they answered?
I think the last question was a summary of the community budget meeting. And so absolutely, we'll provide a summary to the city council after our community budget meeting on May 14th.
Thank you. Okay. Chief City Clerk, do we have any public comments?
I have no speaker cards, Mayor.
Okay. So it's now time for council discussion. Who would like to start? Councilmember Ding, did you want to say something now, or? Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor. Thanks the Will do the kickoff, the report. Yeah. The Councilmember Wu and the Vice Mayor already mentioned how we encourage the citizen involvement. So that's really want to, but why I didn't say that before, because I still, for my mind, we accepted that like social media, and that definitely it's a tool can do it, but how can we do some like really like motivation, let the community member to really want to involve, not just for the budget, but for the some any city issue or city, like for example, maybe we do the very good ceremony for the K9, the remember, but the community have any like some thought that we want to continue to do that, or just for example, it's not an agenda, but just for the example. So hopefully we can brainstorm, and the PIO also can help us to how can we encourage, like I saw that on the meeting right now, have the Sue and Denise, and some maybe I think it's Georgie for the swim, the coach, right? Yeah. So it's really appreciate all of you coming to show up. Yeah, but how can we encourage to rest of people if they cannot show up the council chamber? How can they use their current it's right now it's another tool, but the tool. But how can we really want to listen their the thought? Yeah, and that's we wanted to hopefully get the more people. But for the for the current today's report, it looks like we are consistent to do some long-term the planning. Yeah, I really agree the staff recommendation. We still need we have the good infrastructure for our city, like paving the street, but some where you already see some like a crack, or we still need to continue to maintain. Yeah, that's I think we want it, and I think we still do the study for the public safety headquarters, the building, right? So what's the best solution to do that? And even I hear about some community property, they have some different idea to bring the more safety concern for our some certain area. So yeah, I hope they can bring up to maybe if we financial goal, it's not really can achieve for the affordable the current the safety building. How can we use the current reserve or financial situation? It's really like help, especially I know our PD department, they are building so old, right? It's back to the 1960 something, so they should have some good environment for them too. And it's definitely for the Mission Playhouse. That's my goal to have it's right now so far. It's really like we current performance, especially for the SGV Symphony. It's really bring up a lot of good community member coming and help our Mission Playhouse. Hopefully we can for further. How can we balance this budget for the Mission Playhouse, and another like Smith Park. It's I hope even we have chance. I hope if we can connect LA 2028 LA the Olympic big game. My dream, if they can like invest the money to our city, become the Olympic standard swim pool. It's good, right? It's good for our city too, and fire the department of facility because we especially for our city right now have the higher building. So how can we have some ladder? Okay. Yeah, we have I think chief, we have a Verdugo system, right? The neighborhood city can help us, but I think if we have our own, maybe the response should be more quickly, right? So yeah, so that's I just focus on the long-term plan, okay, but the short-term, I just let the rest of the council member to have some suggestion. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Will.
Thank you. Thank you. So I guess I'll just make a few comments. I'll focus also on the outreach because that comes to mind. First of all, thank you, Will, for being so well organized, and I like the colors, so that's very helpful. It makes it more interesting when you have some color, because I don't think we're known to be very colorful as accountants. But anyway.
Making accounting fun.
Yeah, that's right.
Hey.
But one of the things I was thinking too, along the same lines, is we just can't get people to come out, and a lot of times they say, well, no one told them, but I know it's out there. I know we've been trying, whether at council meetings or through our social media. So first of all, I wanted to applaud the first step is taking it out of the previous location and putting it in Blossom Market. Much better than where it was before, because Blossom Market has become kind of like the epicenter. So we get a lot of traffic, whether it's the Factory Tea Bar or Mission Playhouse, so it's a better location. But still, are we going to be able to get people there? And so one of the things I was thinking of is, we're going to have our farmers market. Maybe having some kind of literature or one of those flags, they call it, saying, we're having, budget meeting here or something. We can work up to it, maybe, a month before. I think in the past, our farmers market has had like an information booth. passing that out, trying to do something like that, because I think I'm very hopeful that our farmers market will be very successful. And so let's take advantage of that crowd that's going to be coming. I know not everyone is from San Gabriel that's going to be there, but that's okay. I think, trying to promote it that way might be an idea. Also, maybe 411 with the chief. I know in the past the chief has had the Public Works Director, but maybe one meeting could be just to talk briefly about the budget, maybe just talk about public safety, maybe that part of the budget, and then tell them, hey, and if you want to hear about the rest of the budget, come to our forum or Blossom Market session that we're going to have. But trying to just find different ways of bringing them in, because council meetings are just not going to be enough to try to draw people. And then lastly, maybe, I don't know if it's appropriate, I'm going to look at Mark for this, but is there a way we can draw them by saying, those who come have access to a raffle ticket or something, like you get 2 free Mission Playhouse tickets or something to kind of draw them in, because it's either food or gifts. And I know in the past you've had like appetizers at your budget meetings, very light appetizers, but just something to kind of get the momentum going. And I know Jessica and Ileana are much better at this stuff, but just some kind of incentive to come on down. And I know, maybe it's not appropriate, but if it's our Mission Playhouse, we're trying to also promote our Mission Playhouse. Maybe this is another way of trying to draw people in, but we need to kind of do something different. And so, I'm not saying it's going to work. I'm just trying to think of ways that, again, Blossom Market I think is a great location, but what else can we do to try to get different parts of our community, whether you're looking at ages or their age group, or, demographically, where, or geographically where they're situated. Those are the kind of things, kind of getting that information out. I don't know, have we done banners in the past? I know those are tough because they're expensive and you have to have the right date, and so, but just some kind of announcement. I know, for Kiwanis, obviously we do that. We also do it for a lot of our, our events like dumplings and beer and things like that. But we need to make this more of an event where we are really trying to do whatever we can to bring people in. And I think part of it is the language, but I think if we can take care of that somehow, in our flyers saying, hey, we will have access, or you will have access to someone who speaks a different language, and they will be able to help you translate. But anyway, those are just some of the things I was thinking, how do we get to people? And I think the farmers market is a great place, because really it's going to be the only place we have now that every single week there's engagement at some level. So, I'm just kind of throwing that out to my colleagues. You might have better ideas, and 411 with the chief, I know they have it at different locations. San Gabriel Unified School District, I know they've had it at their room. That's the parents. That's great access to the parents. Maybe that would be a good location to have a mini, budget meeting without creating too much. Because I know these meetings take time, and I'm very respectful of your time. But since we're having a 401 anyway, we might as well try to combine it together. But just kind of thinking outside, what other events are there leading up to May? I think the Blossom Market's in May sometime. What other possibilities are there to bring people in and really get them engaged? And then lastly, the survey I think is great. I think we've done that in the past. I don't remember if it was for budget or strategic plan or something, but budget. I think that's a great idea, just to make sure the goals that were listed here, the operational budget priorities, are still there and they're in line. The only other thing I would like to see, and I don't know if people would feel comfortable with this, is I'd like to know where those who are filling out the survey, what part of the area of the community are there? You know, because I think that the needs maybe in the northwest might be different from northeast or southeast or southwest, just to kind of get a better idea.
I'm sure when they build the survey, they can have a data field for what part of the city you live in. Or,
Yeah,
just
but I don't
for
think we've done that in the
Okay,
past.
but
It's
I'm saying
been-
we probably wouldn't be hard to do.
Yeah, I'm just not sure.
Statistical, just for.
Yeah, just for, I mean, I just wanted to see if you guys thought that was that too intrusive, or,
Well,
I just
oh,
think,
you can ask. I mean, they don't have to.
yeah, that's
You
true.
don't have to
You
put
could
it.
put optional.
Yeah, but yeah, it could be one of the random questions. And if they
Yeah.
want to say where they're from,
What-
that helps us in terms of us and our empirical data.
Yeah, and it shows whether are we really reaching out to everybody in this city, or is it just certain areas that are responding? More vocal, because I want to make sure everybody is getting those opportunities to
Right.
give us feedback. And that's the only way I can think of, is by
Yeah.
putting,
Yeah.
on there. And then lastly, I think someone mentioned the block captain. I think that's a great place to feed this information.
Yeah.
And if we can work with with Stacy, I believe she's in charge of the block captain program, maybe sending a special email or a special invitation, we're having this. Can you share this with your neighbors? Ask them to come, because, I mean, we have some amazing block captains. We have
Yeah.
huge numbers, when you go to
Following.
breakfasts and following. And, talking about soldiers on the ground, I mean, those block captains could really get this information directly to them. They'll open a block captain's email before they open a city council email or a city email.
Right.
I mean, that's just the reality. They have those relationships. So can we tap into our block captain and say, can you send a special invitation? Or maybe Will does a special invitation, or Ileana, somebody do a special invitation, just say, please come. Please give us, and meanwhile, we're going to have a farmer's market, so you can enjoy your farmer's market, then go up and talk about budgets. Woo! So anyway, I don't know if there's anything else you would like to add?
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. I was just, okay, I guess I'll preface this with, you all know my sense of humor, so I'm already chuckling as to what I'm thinking of when Madam Mayor mentioned having a banner advertising these meetings. Hey, come to an accounting meeting. Lots of fun. But that aside, I'm sort of kidding and sort of not kidding with your idea with our city events, like we're going to be having a weekly farmers market, but that would be a great place, but maybe not as often as weekly farmers market. But I was thinking at our usual periodic city celebrations. You know how we have the different booths, and community services usually has a booth, and the FD has a booth, PD has a booth. I was kind of chuckling to myself, hey, why don't we give finance a booth?
You might throw tomatoes.
But actually, and like I said, I'm semi not kidding, because to our discussion point, our finance booth could be holding the tablets that have the surveys on them, like we are saying in a serious way, that we want to give the public a chance to answer a pretty low-stress kind of survey, and we can build one that says, okay, here's what the budget looks like, and here's a pie chart. What piece of the pie, what percentage do you think do you put importance on these different city functions and services, and have people come by the finance booth, the accountant booth, and answer that thing. So it's something like that. So yeah, that's what I mean. I'm sort of not kidding, because I do think that would be a good way, because a lot of people do come out to we have some really awesome social activities, community activities, and so when people are out there, it's a lot less intrusive than even like mailing something to somebody or having them go on social media necessarily. They're already there to have fun, and you kind of just have them when they come by your booth say, hey, what do you think about the way the city spends their money? And these are the different categories, and what do you think is most important way to spend your tax money in our city. So in that kind of way, it makes this budget process, accounting, boring accounting stuff, a little more manageable, a little less intimidating for the average resident. So.
Yeah, no, I agree. And also, I know some of the groups like Community Services, Economic Development, the Mission Playhouse, they have their own newsletters. Maybe weaving that in there somehow, too. You know, if you like to, I don't know, without self-promoting, like the Mission Playhouse, you know, doesn't have to say, you know, we want more money, but just, you know, it's important for everyone to be engaged and, you know, please come to our meetings. But it's just trying to find different pockets out there of people because, you know, they're all over and everybody cares, but it's just so hard to reach everybody.
Well, like I said, you know, you can think a lot of people may not have the time or the bandwidth or the interest to read a newsletter, especially when it's like an accounting newsletter. But if we can catch them when they're at our social events, and we just happen to have a booth and happen to have a fun little survey, because everybody likes to give their opinion. So you know you'll catch people who want to do surveys because everyone has opinions and they want to express them, and they should be able to express them, and that's what we want. We want the input as to what our residents and businesses would like to see from their tax money. So, you know, that'd be
Yeah,
that might be
I mean, that
a
would
good
be
interactive way to, you know, instead of just having them read something, this is an interactive way to catch them, to talk with them a little bit. If finance wants to talk with them, and also get their input in a survey that they can later download into data and kind of splice the way we splice data.
Yeah, I'm just saying that everything works, you
Right.
know, whether it's one-on-one or, because some people prefer just emails, frankly, but just try different platforms.
Absolutely.
Different ways, and as opposed to just, you know, Discover and with our magazine and our social media, you know, whatever we have out there. So I think you have lots of ideas from all of us, so Will, do you have any other feedback or?
I think those are great ideas, and it galvanizes us in the finance department to try to increase public participation. So we'll go back to the drawing board and
Well, no, it's not. I mean, this is a great process. It's just adding maybe another box.
Yeah,
You know, engagement. But your process is wonderful. I mean, it's very methodical and it's a process, so.
yeah, love the idea of the survey. You know, that is easy, and that's just great information to have.
Yeah, that would be a great box to add to the process. So next year, you know, it's not forgotten because you do have community budget meeting, but there's nothing about surveys. But,
Yeah.
you know, maybe a survey deadline or something. But anyway, okay. Well, then if there's no other, Councilmember Ding.
I just saw some, like, we have a social media and we have the Facebook, and the Councilmember will talk, we have the, what I have? CDB. CDB, right? Okay. So I don't know, the Mark or the Keith say, how can we, it's financial or whatever the department do the survey, even PD fire to cooperate with the economic, the development department to, if the people do the survey, so we give to some incentive like a cup of the, like boba tea or something like that. That, I don't know, that's okay or not.
That was my question. I don't know if it's appropriate, but
Yeah.
I came up with Mission Playhouse tickets. I'm not sure if a boba's enough, but who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe that's something for his.
Just bring the some salt,
Yeah,
you know.
something,
Well, I just want a
incentive.
proper way to do that, right?
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, okay.
Agreed.
And also for the short term, it's I recently our city, all the street is so busy. How can we like quickly to solve the way put on budget or solve the traffic situation? Yeah, but sometimes like for example Las Tunas. Sometimes Las Tunas the one traffic take like 3 minutes. But yeah, it's really busy street. But how can we? But sometimes not. But they still 3 minutes. So it's cost like small street. It's wait so long. Okay.
I don't think it's on our agenda, the
Okay.
that traffic.
yeah.
That could be a separate
Yeah,
conversation.
I mean, no. That's also need the budget too, if you're talking about. I don't think it's not on a agenda.
Is that considered a budget item?
It is. I think we can tie it into the budget, but for that specific intersection that you and I spoke about a few days ago, Councilmember Ding, we can look at that specifically. For the traffic throughout the city, we've already approved as part of one of our past council meetings, the traffic cameras and signal detection for every intersection in the city. So over the next couple of years, our traffic will flow better from east to west and north to south. But we can look at that specific intersection just to make sure it's functioning properly.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, not just the Latstones, even Berry Boulevard, San Gabriel Boulevard, right now, it's really, it's part of the infrastructure too, Thank you. Thank you, Mayor. Sorry. Okay.
Thank you. Okay, and there are any other questions or anything? Okay, well, there's no vote. We just receive and file. All right, next item, city manager's report.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I have two quick items tonight. First, 2 weeks from tonight, at our next council meeting, we'll be presenting to council the two designs for the Veterans Memorial. I'm very excited about that. It's going to be I think, a fun presentation. We'll have a lot of input from the council, and I hope the community will come out. I know you'll have a lot of folks in the audience from the Veterans Coalition, but I hope we get a wider audience as well, and I'd love to get feedback from everybody on their thoughts on that design as we move forward, but it is further along than we were a few months ago, so it's a great place to be. And then second of all, we've talked a lot tonight about the farmer's market. We do have an opening date. I know there was some confusion as to what the date would be, but we are officially on for April the 11th, Saturday morning. And so I hope to see, I'm sure I'll see all four of you out there, and I hope to see many hundreds more of the community as well. Thank you.
Could you just give the public an update of the vendors, the number of vendors you have?
Thank you. Yes, we have right now 20 vendors. We're almost at full capacity, and I think it's a wide variety that the community will enjoy, and they'll be hopefully successful from day one rather than what we've had in the past. Our partner that we're working with, they are extremely excited about it. In fact, as you know, we got information out maybe ahead of when we wanted to because they are so excited and committed to making this work. So I think those vendors, those 20 vendors or so, are going to be great assets to our community.
And just to piggyback, that will be in our mission district, right? Every Saturday, 8, 9?
8:30 to 1, 8 to 1?
Okay.
9, excuse me, 9 to 1. You're right, every Saturday morning, rain or shine, except for probably a couple of days during the year when we have city festivals. But other than that, rain or shine.
And they'll be right on the street, so staff will shut down the street.
Staff will shut down the street.
Mission. Okay.
That's right, from Broadway down to Santa Anita.
Okay.
And we will likely make changes as the weeks go on, as we learn from whatever traffic or other parking issues that we have. So bear with us if hopefully it's oversubscribed and a nightmare and too many people there. And if that's the case, we will adjust to it. But in our mind, that would be a good problem to have, that we had so many people down there that it was an issue.
We'll just take over Las Tunas.
There you go.
Thank you. Thank you, Mark. Vice Mayor Chan, council comments?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Since our last council meeting on January 28th, I attended a Pasadena Chamber of Commerce networking event at the Ethan Allen store out there. It was a nice little networking event. And on January 31st, I attended the Monterey Park Lunar New Year celebration, and Madam Mayor was with me there. And it was a fun event organized by the World Journal. And speaking of which, please plan to attend our San Gabriel Lantern Festival. It will be the weekend of March 21st, and it will also be co-organized by the World Journal. So it'll be a great event. And also on January 31st, in the evening at 7 p.m., I attended the San Gabriel Valley Symphony's Lunar New Year Festival concert at the San Gabriel Mission Playhouse. It was a lovely evening of music, from music from the Chinese video game Genshin Impact. There's so many talented musicians. It was a great event. So I look forward to great things happening through the through the city's partnership with SGV Symphony at the Mission Playhouse. So that concludes my report. Thank you, Madam Mayor. I yield.
Okay, next. Councilmember Ding.
Okay, it's from last council meeting. Actually, not too many. So January 24, I have the chance to attend the California Asia American Attorney Association. They established this association especially for the Asia American community. Some founding members from our local, even they're from our local different city, the council member. They are attorney, so they willing to help. They find the place is a little bit far away in the urban, but actually most people is from San Gabriel Valley to get together to celebrate, and so give it to the community have this kind of opportunity to protect the Asian American voice. Okay, and
Councilman Ding, make sure they do it at our Hilton or Sheraton next year.
I already say that. Okay.
Good job. Thank you.
Yeah, even that's afternoon and evening. I have to go to the Fuhui Spring Festival Gala. Okay, and they hosting in the Roland High. It's their chamber. It's really okay. I have chance with our council member Wu to. Okay, they do the community service. Actually, their member have several. It's from our city, the business owner to do this kind of things. And but hopefully have a chance. Same restaurant, the owner probably we can see they have the restaurant in our city for the future. Okay, but I'm not sure yet. Okay, maybe until market find out. Okay, all right, and. On the January 31st, and has GV Symphony is same to the vice mayor. I have the mayor and the council member Wu there too. It's a really good performance. It's especially they bring up the Genshin Impact video game, and I saw a lot of the maybe teenage or young people. It's really like this video, the inside the costume or something like that. And I just find it interesting. I never know that this video game until that day. Okay, and then I searched the company owner. It's my alumni. It's from Shanghai Jiao Tong University, and the same my major. It's computer science. Their age is 80 something. So I'm very proud of it. Okay, so I hope their owner later on can do some investment or whatever they are. If they want a conference, I hope for the future they can come to our city. We have the future, probably we have the 3 good hotel. Yeah, bring the more business in our city. Okay, that concludes the report. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Wu.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I have several things to report. From January 21st to 23rd, I participated in the Mayor and Council Member Academy hosted by the League of California Cities in Sacramento. So this program provided valuable and practical training for newly elected and also current officials. So offering very important insights into public service and local government leadership. And the sections cover key topics including the legal authority and limitation of the city official, open government laws, and how cities operate within the state and local legal frameworks. So I also learned that how to build an effective work relationship between the city council and the city manager. I think Mark will not, will agree with me that I'm doing a good work so far. But in addition, the fiscal policy advisor also shared their expertise on financial governance, budgeting, and long-term fiscal responsibility. And overall, I think this academy was a really excellent opportunity to learn from experienced professionals and fellow elected officials. And I gained new perspectives and strengthened my ability to serve our community effectively. And last Saturday, that I just repeat that because I think this is a very impressive event that I had a pleasure to attend the San Gabriel Valley Symphony's Lunar New Year's performance with my colleagues and also family at the Mission Playhouse. It was really inspiring to see that so many young people that dress in cosplay as their favorite characters from the online games Genshin Impact. The last video I remember I played was Super Mario on the classic Nintendo Famicom. So this event truly felt like a perfect example of bridging generations. The performance beautifully combined historical venue, modern digital culture, creative costumes, and classical orchestral music. It was also a very memorable event that brought together people of all ages and backgrounds to celebrate the Chinese Lunar New Year. My sincere thanks to Rebecca, Matthew, and all the Mission Playhouse staff for organizing such a meaningful and inclusive event. Thank you so much. And on February 2nd, which is yesterday, I welcomed a delegation from Yamanashi Prefecture, Japan, to explore potential collaboration opportunity with the City of San Gabriel in medical services, business development, and cultural exchange. This visit followed my official trip to Yamanashi last October, where I had a very positive and productive meeting with the governor, Katoro Nagasaki. During the visit, that we agreed to continue our dialogues and seek future opportunity to cooperation. And this delegation was led by Mr. Koike Kazuhisa, the Director of Business Innovation Support Divisions. And the meeting was held at the Mission Playhouse, and I would like to thank my city manager, Mark Lazzarato, Economic Development Manager, Karen Cole, Public Information Officer, Iliana Flores, and also the staff like Jessica Zhao and Nancy for their support and coordination. I also invite Alhambra Hospital Medical Center Senior Vice President Linda Marsh and the CEO of San Gabriel Valley Medical Center, Tarander Qatar, to participate in this meeting. This visit was very meaningful, that continuation of the relationship established during my trip to Japan, and the discussion was both productive and forward-looking. And Karen delivered an excellent presentation introducing San Gabriel, highlighting the city's unique history and cultural assets, including the long-standing Japanese-American businesses such as San Gabriel Nursery and Florist, and the Toyo Miyatake Studio. I found that Yanamashi to be a dynamic and promising region and a strong potential partner for San Gabriel. Through continued dialogues and collaboration, I look forward to expanding the opportunity for future investment, cultural exchange, and long-term international partnership. And that concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Wu. I'm now going to turn it to Keith because he's going to do a report.
Sure. As Madam Mayor mentioned earlier, Councilmember Herrera Avila had to leave early for a family emergency. As a result, he asked me to give his report from a prior meeting conference recap. He wanted me to report that on January 1st, he also attended the League of California Cities Mayor and Council Members Conference and in Sacramento. He says that he learned from a variety of topics such as policy role and land use planning, which focused on general plan, zoning, CEQA, and strengthening collaboration with planning commissions and staff. He participated in the networking lunch, fostering connections with elected officials, and he participated in a social media, digital communications, and civic engagement panel, which addressed managing public perception and combating misinformation and so on. Finally, he also attended a financial responsibility and cities revenue workshop, which reviewed fiduciary duties, accountability, and so forth. Madam Mayor, that concludes his report.
Thank you, Keith. Okay, so let's see. I had the opportunity to attend a special reception. It was a wonderful evening filled with a lot of powerful remarks from a variety of legislators in the state, but in particular, this event was to welcome the new California Senate President Pro Temp. Her name is Monique Limon, and she is the first Latina and woman of color to hold this role in the state. Her leadership it's an historic moment. So I was happy to be there, to be part of a very large group, mostly Latinos, that to welcome her to her new role and lend support in any way we can. I wanted to also mention, give a big thank you to our city manager, Mark Lazaretto. He was a guest speaker for the San Gabriel Kiwanis Club, and he shared a lot of thoughtful and practical insights about a whole host of variety of things. I think it's very hard to say everything that's going on in such a short period of time. I think it was like maybe 30 minutes, but it got everyone engaged and listened, and just a nice job in keeping everyone informed. And he didn't even use our PIO; he did it all by himself. So thank you for taking the time to talk to the Kiwanis Club, and it was actually a pretty good turnout too. I think you had about 40 people there. I wanted to also announce that there is a group called the Chinese American Military Support, and Councilmember Wu was also there at a private dinner that was held for elected officials, but they're having their annual Lunar New Year dinner, and all the funds collected for this dinner will be going to support the military people, API military people that need our support. And CAMS is made up of current and former service members and those who have an interest in our military. As you may or may not know, I am a proud military mother-in-law, so that's another part of my life that is beginning to grow, it seems like, because I'm meeting so many other service members and their families, and so I'm very proud to participate, to be a member. And this group, they also lend financial assistance, career guidance, family support in any way they can. So I was very happy to be there and plan to go to their event. It's going to be held on February 28th, Saturday. And if you're interested, just look them up, CAMS. And then lastly, I too have to say something about this symphony because it was pretty remarkable. Everyone here was there. There was so much to talk about from 12 to 7 right before the concert started. It was a full day of these characters and their merch that comes along with it. And I really saw people from all over, all age groups and all ethnicities participating. It's a whole different world, and I'm not familiar. I've never played video games, but I do remember Mario, but I never played it. But it's so unique. It's a world that is now coming to our historic city, and I just can't say enough about the San Gabriel Valley Symphony, as well as Arts Building Bridges, Arts Bridging the Gap, which is also the partner there, that they're just doing just an amazing job, and it's all taking place here, so it's exciting. For me, not only the talented artists, which was exceptional, the symphony that played that evening, but also I wanted to congratulate, they had 3 composers there, very young also, and they composed original work, and it was played that evening at the symphony. And then once it was played, they came out. I'll mention their names. Hopefully, the pronunciation might not be completely accurate, but it's Ching Chan Chang, Rick McGuire, and Kevin Charoensary. And they came out, did a bow, and we all, applaud. But it just was so, I was just taken aback to see them there and to have their work played in our stage. It was just really wonderful because we're bringing the arts and the culture and the community pride, and it's all coming together, and everyone clapped, and their work, I'm no expert, but I thought it was just as good as some of those classics, and so I was just excited to have their work there. So anyway, they will have another concert, and I hope everyone is there. So it was almost sold out. It wasn't completely sold out, but boy, it was almost sold out, so very exciting. And that concludes my report, and I do have a special adjournment tonight, and so let me take a moment to read it. Tonight's meeting will be adjourned in memory of former San Gabriel Mayor Dominique Polemini. Dominique was born in Dunmore, Pennsylvania in 1940. Shortly after, he and his family moved to Buffalo, New York, where he spent his childhood and young adulthood. In 1960, Dominique moved to Alhambra, California, where he first worked for the sheriff's office, then the county, before becoming the administrator of the Alhambra courthouse. While administrator, Dominique was elected to the San Gabriel City Council in April 1990, where he found his true passion for effecting positive change in his local community. He served on the City Council until March 2003, including 3 terms as mayor of San Gabriel, which became one of his greatest accomplishments. Dominique loved being active with his community and serving those locally. He was devoted to the city, raising his 3 children, Dawn, Ann, and Patrick, in San Gabriel with his wife, Barbara, and residing there for over 30 years before moving to Fontana to be closer to his children and grandchildren. Dominique was charismatic and a familiar face and friend to many. He will be deeply missed. I had an opportunity to meet him. He actually lived in front of McKinley School, and he was a character, all right, a nice character. But our deepest condolences to him and his family, and he will forever be remembered. Many of you may not know, but if you go right outside in our lobby, all the former mayors, there's a plaque there, and it lists every mayor and the year that they served. So he is part of our history forever. So with that, the next regularly scheduled city council meeting will be held on Tuesday, February 17th, 2026 at 6:30 p.m. The meeting is adjourned at 7:46 in memory of Dominique Polemini. Thank you.